Welcome to this short demo for nettTracker. nettTracker was created with accounting and bookkeeping firms in mind, so all of your nettTracker company files are neatly located in one place within the organisation dashboard. After creating your nettTracker account, you will automatically be guided to create your first company. You can connect to QuickBooks Online, Xero, Sage Cloud Accounting, or you can use nettTracker in standalone mode. You will be guided through the setup wizard. nettTracker will require some basic information about your company, some of your preferences for automation, and some of your depreciation preferences. You will then select the depreciation rules you require, the asset groups that you need to set up, and then how you actually map those asset groups to your chart of account categories in your accounting software if applicable. With the initial setup complete, you will arrive at the company dashboard. Global preferences can be changed from going to the settings menu and selecting company settings. Any of the settings specific to fixed assets can be amended by going to the asset register menu and choosing the option to change your depreciation rules and your asset groups and mappings. This menu contains the option to import assets. If historically you've been using spreadsheets or another software to record your fixed assets, then you can use the simple to use import template to import your historical fixed assets into nettTracker. Simply download the template that is available, and then once it's complete, you'll choose that file and import those assets. Using the account mappings in place against your asset groups, new asset purchases are detected from your accounting software. They'll appear in the transactions area. You can choose to click on the pending transaction and create the asset. Review the settings in place. If you're happy with everything, simply click OK and the transaction is added onto your asset register. You can choose to fully automate the process of adding new transactions to your fixed asset register, so these actions may not be necessary. Just taking a quick look at the fixed asset register, I'm looking purely here at computer equipment, and I've limited the page size to 5, so I'm only displaying 5 assets per page. 2 of the 3 transactions that we added to the asset register are visible on this page, the HP printer and the MacBook Pro. The values of those purchases are showing in the current year. Against every asset, you have the ability of editing the asset details, marking the asset as disposed. You can delete the asset if it's been added in error, and that will also reverse any depreciation. You can also choose to split an asset into a kit, and you can also create a kit which could be made up of multiple transactions and add an asset to a kit. Assets can be added manually or imported into nettTracker at any time, and you can also download the asset register into Excel if you wish. The Excel report could be useful for accountants that require it as part of their annual review. From within the asset register menu, we can access the depreciation forecast. Values in green indicate the depreciation has been processed. Values in blue indicate future depreciation not yet processed. The 3 assets recently purchased were only added in April, and that's when the depreciation will start. If any asset purchases are added after the depreciation has already been processed, those asset purchases would appear in red, and the calculations would get caught up the next time the depreciation processing is run. Depreciation is processed from the dashboard using the Request Company Processing option. However, if you have enabled automatic journal reporting within your company settings, depreciation will be processed automatically at the end of every month. The dashboard contains a summary of your fixed asset register status. We can see the total value of assets held on the asset register and a total value of assets as per the balance sheet, which should both agree. In this example, there's a difference of £500. We've also got shortcuts to the asset register, the depreciation forecast and the transactions area. Why do we have a difference? Let's see if we can find out. If we take a look at the asset register, I can see one of the recent purchases is now highlighted in red. The asset was created from a transaction that has now been changed. Please visit the transactions page. If I take a look at the transactions page, I can see that a printer originally coded as a fixed asset has been recoded in the accounting software, likely to be added as an expense. I'm going to choose here the option to update the asset. The transaction's been recoded out of scope. I'm going to process the changes. The last action has deleted, fully removed the asset from my asset register and reversed any depreciation that had been accounted for. Looking back at my asset register summary on the dashboard, my nettTracker book value and my external book value, the value of my balance sheet, are now in line as they should be, and I can see that all of my status of fixed assets are fully up to date. With the accruals and prepayments feature activated, we can create our accruals and prepayments adjustments. In the menu, I can look at statements, projections, and create an accrual prepayment. I can also import my prepayments and I can download the statements and the projections. Let's create a quick accrual. Before I set up accruals or prepayments, I need to have various settings in place first, and they are covered in more detailed tutorials. This is simply an accrual for some accountancy fees for the entire year. So for 1,950, I'm going to start accruing a value every single month. So for 12 months, it'll be 1,950 divided by 12. If I look at the projections of my accruals, I can see I've got values in red. That's because I've already processed the depreciation up to the end of April. We can make adjustments for our accruals and our prepayments retrospectively, so I'm going to go back to the beginning of the year and put all the adjustments in for the whole of 2022. With the accruals and prepayments feature enabled in nettTracker, summary balances of all my accruals and prepayments will appear at the bottom of my company dashboard. In this example, I've got accrued expenses, prepaid expenses, and deferred income. I can see all of the balances per the statements in nettTracker, and I can see the balances as per the balance sheet in my accounting software. If I take a look at the statement for my accruals, I've got accountancy fees on there, my expected accrual of 1,950, how much I've accrued so far, the amount left to accrue, if I've released any of that accrual, how much, how many months in total, what my monthly charge is, and the remaining months. I can also see my current accrual balance there of 650, which agrees to the 650 which is on my balance sheet. Should I need to, I can edit the accrual, just the basic information. I can release the accrual, which includes a part release, and I can delete the accrual, which will reverse any current balance that's in place. Whether you need to make adjustments for prepayments or accruals or deferred income, everything works in a very similar way. On the screen I have deferred income, and I've got multiple entries within the deferred income statement. Just like fixed assets, you can download your statements for accruals and prepayments. If you choose the download option, you'll receive a single file with separate tabs for each type. So in this example, I've got accrued expenses, I've got my prepaid expenses, and I've got my deferred income. Once 12 months of a company's financial year has been fully processed, you'll need to run the end of year processes and close the year before you can start processing depreciation and prepayments and accruals for the next financial year. Before you close the end of year, you can adjust depreciation against any of your assets by increasing or decreasing the depreciation calculated so far. Whether it's the fixed asset register or your accrual or prepayment statements, when you have closed a financial year, previous financial information can be reviewed by going to the calendar box and selecting the financial year that you wish to view. More detailed video guides and tutorials can be found on our website nettTracker.com/help. Any questions at all, feel free to email to support@farscape-applications.com. Thank you for watching.